Big up open minded, big up open minded. This is just a little test run, but thank you for being in the building. Thank you for your time and energy. I'm gonna run this as my sports and I don't really like to use the word entertainment, but entertainment. Hey, you little who is this Taco Bell person? I don't care about Taco Bell. I could care less about Taco Bell. I don't like Taco Bell. And it says 20 people in here, but I only see no likes. So that is very strange. 20 people inside of here, but I only see you're a good person. Well, when people always told me that in my life, as I tell them, I try to be. Okay, I'm not perfect. I'm not on perfect. I'm myself. You know, I'm not good. I'm not bad. I'm not negative. I'm not positive. I'm just me. Nowadays we have people that try to be like. Now it's looking regular. 4 people and 1 like. That looks regular. That looks normal to me. I tell you, every time you come on this internet thing, you always see like new stuff that's surprising you, and that was very surprising right there. Because that don't add up if we want to talk about sports and stats. That stat right there didn't add up 20 to 1. And it's 2 people inside this chat. And now it's going to 7 to 1. Like, I tell you, the weird things about these internet and numbers and digits, it's very crazy and sick. Like, you can't trust these numbers and digits. Well, I know that open minded. I know that straight off the back, like, see, because now it went right back down to 3, and I guess that should be normal, but Taco Bell sucks. I don't, like, this is my first time ever seeing that person, whoever you are, you know. But shout out to you and shout out to your life. For real, but that came out of the blue, and that person came out of the blue. This is why I tell you, every time you come on this internet, it's something surprising, or I don't know. I can't say it's funny because it's not funny. It's just like a lot of stuff that ain't even surprising to be like, yo, chill. Like, woo. Okay, shake it off, shake it off. Nah, but as I was saying, the Yankees and the Red Sox are playing, and we have the New England Patriots and the Giants are playing preseason football. It ain't regular football yet. The season, we still gotta wait till September 4th. You know. Okay, for some strange, yes, it is. Rip Words 53, bless up to you. Okay, well, shout out to everybody in the building, but this my main points why I came on here to talk about. You know, I ain't really watching the game, but I gotta go rewind the game and watch the rest of the game. I'm just catching the meds right now and talking to y'all, but the Giants are winning in the second quarter, 14:53 on the clock, 14-0. Man, whenever the Giants could beat the New England Patriots, I love it. I love it. It's certain teams that I like to see the Yankees beat. I like to see the Knicks beat. And I like to see the Giants beat. And I love to see the Giants beat the New England Patriots. I love it. Like, the game ain't over yet, but as I said, with the Giants, like, one of my Italian, elders that I know, he's a Giants fan because he's from Jersey, and they had the Giants in Jersey and they had the Jets in New York in the Meadowlands Stadium, but he had to go for the Giants growing up. But when I look at it, a lot of people over the past few years, or I would say since 2009 or after Eli retired, a lot of people let go on the New York Giants, and like I'm talking about fans and supporters, a lot of people. I seen a lot of people just say, uh, like they don't really care about the Giants no more. I'm like, wow, when we was winning somewhat and having our two trophies that we got in this modern day time right now, not the 90s with LT in them, but Eli, you know, and Plexico Burris and Tom Coughlin, this era, David Tyreek and them, like this era, like after Eli and left the Giants, a lot of people just like stopped talking about the Giants, and I'm like, wow, you know. I'm watching the Yankees play the Boston. Yeah, it's 2-2, man. It's 2-2. We gotta. One thing, I don't want to say it, but I have to say it because this been really getting me mad of how the Yankees been playing this year. We've been giving up a lot of games and we've been not closing out games. That's why, like Mariano Rivera, I tell you, you are the best closer in the game. You are Mr. Ninth Inning forever. It ain't gonna never be another closer in baseball history like Mariano Rivera for the New York Yankees. He's retired. Salute to him forever. And that is one of my best baseball players of all time, for Mariano Rivera. He saved many games. And you know what? Even the games that he gave up that we lost, I still respect it though, because when Mariano Rivera came in the ninth inning and the score was 5-1 or 3-0, you knew that Mariano Rivera, like 90%, he was going to win that game for the Yankees. And his percentage as a closer is very good, and like they say in baseball, Mariano has some stuff, he has some pitches, so we need to get back to that where our pitchers come in the ninth inning and we close out the game. Well, I'm gonna put it to you like this: if we got a lead from the seventh inning on up to the ninth, we need to close out that game. I don't like when we give up runs and we had a lead. Like, that's for anybody in any team or any sport. Like, you don't want to have a lead and you beating a team a whole game, and then after that third quarter come or seventh inning come, and you did like slacking up. Like, nah, man, if you beating a team in sports, beat them down. Okay, beat them. Like, I know a lot of people like to say, showmanship and let go, but me, play all fourth quarters hard. Like, ain't no letting up. Like what did we come here to do? Play like patty cake or something? No. You don't have no, like, people may think it's bad, but you don't have no mercy on your opponent. Like, you're not playing to kill them, but you surely ain't playing to like them. You ain't playing to love them. You're not like, this ain't no matches game. So like, yeah, you're gonna have respect for your opponent as a human, but you gotta understand they on the other team. It ain't no likes, it ain't no hee ha ha's, you know. Okay, thank you. Wait, hold on. Wait, hold on. Man, thank you for telling me that, Elder. Thank you. No, I need us to come out of this game, because we come out of this game, we get our 70th win, and we could cut the lead of the AL East. We could be 4.0 games ahead, and we need to get back up to first place, because I remember one of my coworkers asking me, he said, you grew up in New York and watching the Yankees and all that, and y'all love to win championships and y'all love to win the division. I said, yeah, okay, like I grew up as a Yankees supporter and a Yankees watcher and like a goer of going to the games and stuff. Like, it was Like all the years that we didn't win the championships, it was aight. But you got used to winning championships. You know, where the Bulls, the Cowboys, and the Yankees ran the 90s. Okay? The Houston Rockets, they got them 2 years. You know, but the Bulls, Cowboys, and the Yankees ran the 90s. Okay? Don't matter what you say, but those was the three most popular sports franchise in America and around the world. The Bulls, the Yankees, and the Dallas Cowboys. They had America roaring and the rest of the world. Because you have people that's fans in China was watching the Chicago Bulls in the 90s. You have people all over in London that's Cowboys fans. And you have people almost everywhere, even in Toronto, that give it up to the New York Yankees. Because I seen Yankees fans in China, Japan, all over the place. Mason, big up to you, you know. New York Yankees gave the best parades. We turned up when we won. And you know what? Let me tell you something, man. I wasn't born in 1970 and 1973 when the Knicks won, right? But let me tell you something. When the Knicks... Can I speak louder? Well, I hope you can hear me. Could you hear me now? Nah, when the Knicks won in 1970 and 1973, I wasn't even thought of. But when we win, like, you know, like, I can't put a time limit, but I will say this season that's coming up, the Knicks win a championship, you know, I'm hoping, you know, but I'm going to say when the Knicks win a championship, right, New York City is going to be turned upside down. Okay? New York City is going to be turned upside down. Because people in the 70s, how they celebrated smoking their cigarettes and, you know, sniffing snow bunnies, you know, and smoking their cigars and having their champagne. Like, this modern day era of Knicks fans and supporters, trust me, they gonna flip stuff over. Okay, like police cars gonna get flipped over, like cars are gonna get flipped over, people are gonna be in front of the garden, like people gonna sleep in front of the garden the Knicks win. You know? Well, if your crush like you, that's good for you, but we ain't talking about your crush. So you like go talk about your crush somewhere else, okay? If you ain't talking about what we talking about here, please exit. You know, I'm not into this foolish YouTube games with people. So please, I'm asking you nicely. For like I really be trying with you internet people, you know, I really try, you know, cause let me just not even go on that. Alright, back to the Knicks, man. You know, like the city will really like it, you know, cause I seen the Mellow, we seen Linsanity, we seen Amari Stoudemire, we seen Chris Duhon, we seen Marcus Camby, we seen the Patrick Ewings, the Charlie Wards. We seen all Mason, like just leave, okay? Cause I'm not into talking to adults. Just leave. Alright. Now, like we seen the Charlie Wards, the Anthony Masons, Allen Houston, Sprewell. Like we seen all of them. Bless up to you, Sassy. Bless up to you, man. You know, we seen all of them. Like, yeah, Allen Houston, man, one of the best 3-point shooters we had in Knicks history, you know? Like, He had a pure shot. Excuse me, right there. He had a pure shot. You know, one of our legends, Larry Johnson, Mr. AKA Grandmama. Like Charlie Watts and Chris Childs. Those are two of my favorite Knicks players too. Cause played they played for the city. Larry Johnson. Like Charles Oakley, R.I.P. Anthony Mason. Like Mace played for the city. Stephon Marbury. Like even Joakim Noah. He was once a Knick. Amon Shepard. Like we had a lot. But we are dealing with these new Knicks nowadays, and as I always say, through all the teams that we had, I always said I had faith in the team, and this team, I got faith in the team because even though these young boys makes a lot of mistakes, I still believe in the team. Because there's many games that people thought the Knicks was going to come out last season, but the Knicks came out of games last season, and like the sad thing about it is last season the Knicks still didn't play up to their full potential and made it all the way to the Eastern Conference, and we got a whole summer break. We got a whole break, like I believe that we're gonna turn it up on the whole NBA, We're gonna forget like, turning it up on the East Coast, and the people in our division. I wanna show the whole NBA, like this is New York Knicks basketball. We're gonna grit and grind and close you out. We're not going to be sweating. We're not going to be playing like we don't know what to do in the fourth quarter. We're going to close games out. Just like I said, with the Yankees need to close games out, the Knicks need to close games out too, because, and this is no disrespect to Brunson, but you better be working in that gym. Okay, you better be working in that gym and, like, make stuff work. Like, make stuff work. Because you got a big job and you got a heavy job. You are the captain of the New York Knicks, so do what you gotta do and be the point guard of the New York Knicks. And like Deuce McBride, I hope you in the gym as well. Hope you in the gym. I like what we picked up with Jordan Clarkson. Like Jordan Clarkson gonna come in and I believe he will be 13 points off the bench for us, I believe he's going to give us 13 points every night. 10 to 13, I'll say. He'll give us, Kolek, I hope he really step up on his defense, because he's a good player in my behalf, Like, if I was a coach or a GM, I'd keep him on the team, but what I think the Knicks need to do to him is throw him out there to the wolves, Like, you got to let him swim. Let him swim, because, like, yeah, one of the big things is his defense, and you don't want him to get chewed up by other point guards from other teams. I get that, but if we going to be for real, Jalen Brunson ain't a good defender as well, but he's our star point guard, and he going to get all the high praises. So you gotta, it's a give and a take, like, you gotta remember he's still young. He still got a lot to learn. Not about basketball, but about how certain positions are moved in the NBA, how certain spots are played in the NBA. He have to learn how to shift. He have to learn how to switch his man. He gonna have to learn, and that's the thing that people got to stop doing in sports when a rookie come in or a sophomore come in and you thinking that they supposed to know the game plan right away or they supposed to like pick up on everything right away. Only certain people do that, but the people that don't do that, you got to give them time. And I believe that Yes, his defense may not be 100 or 200% or what people want, but his defense, if he practice and he study, he will get better. So leave him alone because he could read the court, he could see the court, and he is a player. He's not a quitter. He's not a quitter. So like with him not being a quitter and being a baller, and like you could see the grit and grind in him. He ain't soft. You could tell certain people that's soft on the court, and Tyler Kolek is not one of those players. He's gonna play. You know, people like that, you gotta give them a chance. You gotta make them grow. You know, for other people that ain't gonna wanna grow like that, yeah, kick them off the team, or like I say, sell them. You know, because you don't need players on your team that ain't gonna work for the team, and that's just working for themselves or stats. You know, like, you don't need nobody if you're trying to work for a championship. You don't need certain people working for individual stats. And I'm not saying Tyler Kolek is one of those people, you know, but I'm talking about any team or any sport. You don't need those type of people on your team, you know. And hold on, let me check on my Giants, man. Let me check on the Giants. Let me see what's going on in Giants Town. Let me see what's going on in Giants Town. Okay. Okay, look like the Patriots got three. You know, look like the Patriots scored three. Okay, 3-14. 6:10 remaining in the second quarter. I'll be greedy right now. I'm looking to looking to blow them out, lead them right where they at. Don't even make them score more than 10 points. That's how the game going right now. They ain't gonna score. And to even be nice, I'll be nice to them. The Patriots ain't gonna score more than 14 points in this game. For real. That's how I'll put that. They not gonna score more than 14 points. For real. Now the Giants got a different vibe, man. The New York Giants got a different vibe. The defense is coming to play, coming to knock you down and sack you out. The offense, we gonna run it up. You know, as I say, man, we got so much teams in New York sports that every year, like 3 to 4 teams need to win a championship. For real. It's the Empire State, man. Like, we need to get back to winning. All of our teams. The Jets, buckle up. Brooklyn Nets, buckle up. You know, like, for real. Because I don't really know about the Brooklyn Nets roster yet. I got to check the Brooklyn Nets roster out. Who's going to be their starting lineup, you know. I don't really got it on my head to talk about them, but shout out to the Brooklyn Nets, you know, and I hope they have a good season. You know, because they need to look good for New York, too. And they need to look good for their own organization as well. You know? Forget looking good for New York. They need to look good for their own organization and make sure this year that they get into the playoffs. Because I'm pushing for that vibration anyway, man. The Nets in the playoffs this year. For the East Coast is open, you know, and if the Nets put a garbage starting lineup and a garbage bench on the court this year, just like a lot of people been saying last year behind the scenes, like rumor reports and stuff, like Nets organization don't care about the Nets organization until they get a good draft pick or they're going to tank this season that's coming up. If you do that, very sad. Very sad. Don't do that. Like, tuck the ganja, let me burn down room. And I can't even be mad at the Nets if they tank their season, because sports fair is fair. And that's a lot we're going to talk about, too, on this page when it comes to sports, you know? Like, fair is fair. You can't want to point the finger at somebody and don't point the finger at everybody else. Because I'm going to keep saying it. Barry Bonds needs to be in the Baseball Hall of Fame. Pete Rose as well. For real. Care what nobody say. I really don't. I don't. I double down on it. I don't care what none of y'all say. For real. Charlie Hustle was a good baseball player. For real. Because if you look at baseball players like him gave people like me some, like, credit, or even getting on the field too. As I said, when I looked at certain players, like Barry Bonds and Gary Sheffield, Hank Aaron, Willie Mays, and I was young playing baseball. I don't know how to play baseball at all, but you know what? Watching those black athletes play baseball on TV surely made me thought I could. I had a lot of trip days. I had a lot of bad days playing baseball, but you know what? I ain't never quit. I ain't gonna never come up here acting like I was the best baseball player, best fielder or batter or anything. No. I did it because I liked it, and I actually learned to love it, and it was fun. Like, people that call baseball boring, shoot. Yeah, you play 9 innings. For real. You see how, how fun it is. Because people that call it boring, like, people that love the sport, they ain't gonna call it boring, because this all they know all their life, This is all they've been playing. You call it boring just because of the disrespectful mind that you have of not knowing nothing about it, or you thinking that you know something about it, that you can have an opinion on it, but your opinion doesn't really matter though. You know, your opinion holds no weight. Us saying baseball boring, because your opinion ain't gonna do nothing. That's what I do to people that say baseball boring, like, your opinion ain't gonna make the game slow down. Your opinion ain't gonna make the game go faster. Like, no. And if I hit on the Shedeur Sanders right now, let me tell you, man, it's been a setup from the get-go. Myles Garrett, yeah, he probably trying to hold you down and a couple of your teammates, but you need to leave that team because it was the 3rd round, right? 55th pick. Now, we all know he was supposed to be a top 10 quarterback, or even a top 5 quarterback, or even a top 10 player in the draft. He went 3rd round because they blamed it on attitude and arrogance and other things behind the scenes. Now, they picked him in the 3rd round, where you call that the graveyard for players, They call that the graveyard, 3rd round, 55th pick, if I'm correct, right? Now, he fighting between Joe Flacco, Gabriel Dilly, get what's that quarterback name? Hold on, man. Let me go in my head right. Dylan Gabriel, excuse me. See, sorry, I ain't from the new school days where you just gonna type everything on the computer and find it out. I still use my brain, Dylan Gabriel, quarterback, and I'm trying to remember. Watson is the 3rd quarterback, but they don't know who's going to be the 2nd quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. And this is like the big argument and the big confusion in Cleveland right now. Now, if Cleveland was smart and don't want to play stupid games as they doing to America and the fans, Shedeur Sanders is supposed to be the starting quarterback of the Cleveland Browns, but you don't want him, so you're going to put him through the ring around. want him to probably go crazy and mad. But the young man ain't going crazy and mad. He taking everything. Y'all try to start drama between him and Dylan Gabriel. You know, Dylan Gabriel tried to make some slick subliminal comments talking to the reporter, talking about y'all are entertainers, I'm a competitor. Well, let's be correct. They're not entertainers, they're called the media, okay? So, with you and your team and whoever fed you that to say that, you know you shouldn't say it, you know, but this is the drama that they put, you know, in the NFL and in certain teams to cause division. Shedeur Sanders brushed it off, though. He brushed it off, you know. As he said, he asked him what he said, and he said, all right, okay. Brushed it off. To me, I see two things that they may do to him. They might keep him on the bench until one of their quarterbacks get hurt in the season, and they're going to start their second string quarterback, or they may trade him. You know, the best thing they should do is trade him, because you're just using him right now for his star power and his name. You know, because it's so sad that you still got to pay for things that you ain't do, you know. And I ain't saying Dion did anything, but you just know the NFL don't like Dion anyway. You know, they could act like they like Deion Sanders in the public, but the NFL don't like Deion Sanders. They don't like many people like Deion Sanders. And I'm going to just put it correctly. The NFL and other leagues, they don't like when a black man is outspoken. Okay? They don't like when a black man could lead himself in telling you that he don't need you. You need him. He is the star. You're not the star. They don't like that. Okay? And it's just the truth. Because all these quarterbacks and all these players, like, for example, John Morant, LeBron James, Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, you know, all of these players from the NFL, Charles Woodson, Rod Woodson, you know, LT, Reggie White, they've been playing your game. They've been making you money for your game, but at the end of the day, did you really realize that these stars are making you popular? But you think that you giving them something. No. It's the other way around. I got the talent. I don't care what you think you have with the money and the buildings and the training camps. That don't mean nothing. What I got inside of me is what your training camp and your buildings and your people need to make your money. So people really start to think, and I'm talking mostly to the black athletes. Don't make these people use you to make them. I'm in Ohio. They don't want him or his dad. Facts. You know, and it's like, they be saying that we come along in America, right? But it's still racism and a lot of nonsense in, you know, sports in America. And, like, nobody can tell me different, because, like, long as I can remember, I think I've been watching sports since I was, like, 3 years old. You know, and I seen the nonsense that happened to the athletes that look just like me. And I see the nonsense that happened to the athletes that look just like me. The nonsense is still going on till this day. What are we in? 2025? What is this? What are we in? August 21st? Thursday? It's still going on. So, like, I don't want nobody to tell me different or even to tell the public different, because Yes, you would like to lie and keep on telling the public different things and lying to the public, but lies are not facts. Man, I love Ice Cube Lee. For real, the big three, like, cause the big three, the big three takes, I'm gonna be honest. I put the big three as it's like professional basketball, like and one mixtape, a little bit of and one mixtape, not a lot. And street ball, like it's all three of those mixed in. That's what I say about the big three, cause I like that some NBA players are showing up to the big three, like some old school people like Shaq, like who else did I see there? Like, let me see. Seen Shaq the last time I watched the game. I can't remember nobody right now off the head, but as I remember, I will say, you know. No, it is popping, cause you got a half court basketball and you ain't really taking no breaks, you gotta check up the ball right there, and like that's how I used to like playing basketball. Like, I ain't gonna front, when I was tired, some games I would like, slow down the pace of the game, but I like playing fast. Like I like playing rapid fire basketball, like just like speed, and that's what it is right there on that half court basketball, and a lot of the teams, I don't care what nobody's saying. One of the biggest things about the big three, Ja Rastafari as my witness, and everybody witnessed this. This is why I keep telling people basketball is more than a sport, and people need real love in this world, because what a lot of people did behind the scenes of talking with Michael Beasley and him getting back into basketball and trying his best to get his mind state correct. I love that, you feel me? Because I remember years ago everybody was joking on him, and I didn't see it as funny. I seen it as my brother had problems that he's trying to deal with, and with him playing basketball right now in the big three, you see the brightness inside of him. You see him shining again. You see like, and shout out to Lance Stevenson and Ice Cube, for real, cause those are two people that you could see that's helping him. And they got other people behind the scenes, but those is two people that you see in the public eye in the big three that's helping him, and shout out to everybody else behind the scenes that's helping him, cause this is what it's about when it comes to like this game that we talking about, of when people calling the game now, it's deeper than the game, because when somebody need help, that's when the community really gotta help that person. Don't joke on them. Get that little childish nonsense out of here. Yeah, Michael Beasley can play. I like his game. Yeah, and like he's a lefty assassin. He's a lefty assassin for real, and he got, like, let me see, how could I say his game? It's like he got different moves, where some people, they still can't, like, what is it? His little mid range, he got his mid range down pack. And that's one thing that a lot of people sleep on in basketball is the mid range game. Like, yeah, when I was a kid, it was the fast point guards and stuff. It wasn't really the 3-point game. But as I grew up into a teenager, like the older I got, like I fell in love with the 3-pointer, and that was, I would say, like one of my secret weapons, but I remember a lot of people used to tell me like that shit ain't gonna be working all the time. That shit ain't gonna be working all the time, and I'll be honest to you. I remember one day I was playing this dude in Brooklyn, and it wasn't working. My shot was off that day. And I remember when we used to play to 32, man. He beat me 16-32. And the only thing I could do is stay on the court and keep shooting after he left. Because my shot wasn't on. And funny thing is, when he left the court and I'm shooting, that's when that joint want to really go in. They want to be hitting, and I was like, wow. I could have beat this dude, but I was studying on hitting threes and I wasn't really like playing. And I could have hit mid-range shots and beat him easy, and he got away with the win, you know. We didn't play again until a month later, and I beat him 20-32, but you learn on a lot of your mistakes, when you play a basketball game. And like, one thing I didn't like to lose games, and I lose a game, I got to practice on that game that I lost, like for real, because I don't know, it still is, like my legs ain't where I want them to be, but I'm going to just be honest to you, I played with some real street ballers from the Bronx, where like it was hard-nosed basketball, and I ain't grew up playing basketball with no soft people, so it was real street ball. And you had to play tough, like you had to play rough. It wasn't no easy streak. It wasn't no easy layups or nothing. Like, you getting hit, you come down that lane. You getting hit, you come down that paint. Your shot better be on, because if your shot ain't on, that other team or whoever else you playing, they gonna make sure they hit that shot. Your mistakes is their win. Your mistakes is their score. So you had to always be on point when you was playing, you know. I played against Lance in Coley Island tournament years ago. Oh shit, nah, that's what's up, man. Nah, Lance is one of my favorite New York City basketball players, cause he went around the world and he defined how we played, and a lot of people try to put like, caps on Lance Stephenson game, but he's one of those players, how coaches will say, you got to let him play his game. Because, yes, you could put him in a set position and you can make him play into with other people or for other players, but you got to always let a player like Lance play his game, because that's where he shine best at, playing his game. And that's where a lot of people shine best at. You can't hold somebody game back, because I'm gonna tell you like this, man. A lot of people was superstars in high school. Then they went to college. A lot of college coaches, cut their game 50-50, because they had to play into the college way, college program. Now, you got to understand, the college done cut their game 50-50. So they playing half of how they learn, and they playing of how this college program runs. Now, they still got the beast inside of them. But when they get drafted to the NBA, whether it's 2 years or 3 years, or whether they get drafted that first year, when they go into the NBA, you got to remember the NBA is a different beast, where NBA ain't playing none of that street ball stuff, or they ain't playing what you learn from your hood, or they ain't playing what you learn in the AAU. They take almost everything away from you in the NBA. Because they tell you this ain't college no more. So now you remember what I said with the college. They take 50% away from you in college. Now imagine you get to the NBA. They done took that other 50% that you learned from yourself. So you got to relearn everything now. And you have to know that you are in the league. You're in the NBA. And you have to play set game. You can't really... It was like, I say one person that I seen, well, no, it was a few people. Iverson, Kyrie, and Jamal Crawford. Yeah, they may be played of how the coach wanted them to play, but you seen they adopted to their style into the NBA. You know, because Iverson was a football player at first, you know, but he played football when he was younger, but then after that he started playing basketball when he got older, and hmm, Iverson is a born athlete because you see how AI get down anyway. You know, one of the best little men ever to step in the NBA. You know, and you ain't never see a heart like AI yet in the NBA from them little men. For real, you had Nate Robinson, Tiny Archibald, you know, Spud Webb, you know, what's his name, Muggsy. You know, you had a few people, but AI he got a dog in him. You know, when he was playing. Like, yeah, he went to the Nuggets, and what is it? If I'm correct, I think he went to Detroit too for a couple of years. But AI in Philly, when he first came, you know, he showed you who he was, you know, from Georgetown. AI showed you. And AI will always be a Hall of Famer. You know, AI will always be an NBA legend. You know, for real. Shout out to VA. For real. Yeah. And shit. I don't know what they're gonna do for the All-Star game this year, but in the NBA coming up. But I hope they do put the one-on-one tournament inside the All-Star game. Or, like Open Minded said, you know, the NBA need to, but they not going to. They need to collab with Ice Cube, but they done tried to block him years ago, and there's a lot of NBA got a lot of hate in their blood. You know, the NBA got a lot of hate in their blood. You know, but I just hope the big three keeps on getting bigger. You know, Ice Cube keep on getting sponsors. You know, people mess with him, you know, because he doing good. Ice Cube always trying to go outside the lines and break down barriers, you know. He always been like that, you know, from rap, you know. He always been like that. He always wanted to go across the street. And I respect that with him making this joint, you know. And that's another thing. One-on-ones is going, like, it's becoming famous, you know. I gotta see the update on that Brandon Jennings and what is it, Patrick Beverly. Patrick Beverly keep on dogging Brandon Jennings, talking about playing him on one, but Brandon Jennings scared. I mean, he got Nick Young stepping up, but Nick Young legs is old as well. He got old knees. But Nick Young said he ain't scared to play him. That's who was at the big three. Nick Young and Patrick Beverly. Because that's how the one-on-one started with both of them. Because it was supposed to be Patrick Beverly versus Brandon Jennings. But Brandon Jennings keep on acting like a little sissy. Talking about he want clout. Nobody don't want clout, man, for basketball, yo. This is basketball. What clout you talking about? Playing one-on-one. What clout do I want from you, man? And this is what I say, them little nonsense words. People need to, grow up. For real. If you scared to play the man one-on-one in basketball, just say it. Don't say he chasing clout. What's chasing clout if I'm asking you to play one-on-one? Because you acting like your NBA career was better than his, Brandon Jennings. Whoever played Patrick Beverly, somebody need to play him because he talking about Gilbert Arenas Screw, playing them in basketball. It ain't no talking about, them in, negative form, but somebody need to step up and play him. Kenyon Martin ain't gonna play him, you know. Kenyon Martin too old now, but somebody need to play him. You know, because Patrick Beverly wanted to play somebody or Gilbert Arenas said Gil ain't going to play him. Hmm. Even though Gilbert Arenas giving that smoke, you know. But Gilbert Arenas talked that trash, but he could still play. Gilbert Arenas still got a deadly jumper like Rashad McCann. He'll beat Patrick Beverly, but I guess he want the two little ones, you know, Nick Young and Brandon Jennings. But Brandon Jennings is the one he really want to play, but Brandon Jennings scared to step up. I mean, I ain't never cared how big you was. I ain't care how talented you was or what people say about you. I play anybody, you know, for real. Cause like when people used to say somebody good, like I want to play you even more. I don't care. Like you didn't make basketball, you know. You don't run, you don't run basketball. So when somebody used to say like he nice or they nice, like okay. Like, I think I'm nice too, and I think I could go get a nice team too. You know, like so. Mm-mm. For real, we play basketball for real, man. Shoot, the old school days, you know, like crate basketball, you know, like bike tire, garbage cans. Like that's where I came from for real. Before I went to any parks. Football outside in the street, hitting on the cars. You know, baseball in the dirt. But I remember before I even played baseball, we played stickball, man, with the mop stick. You had to get the tennis ball or you get the blue ball from the corner store for $1. When they used to, man, shout out to Brooklyn though, man. Shout out to Fulton between freaking Thomas Boylan and what's the day, Herkimer. For real. Like no. It's Fulton, Saratoga, or what's the day, Thomas Boylan. I forgot the school, but that park, some of the best handball people I ever seen play handball on Fulton between Saratoga and Thomas Boylan in the 90s. Handball courts was on fire. The court was on fire too, but that's when I seen black people playing handball like for real, you know. I had a couple of Latinos there, but so I ain't seen black people playing handball. I wasn't no I ain't gonna act like I was any damn handball expert. No, I was a basketball player, but handball was in my forte. I couldn't play. You know, my girl cousins and them, they played it, you know. The dudes in Brooklyn and the people that lived over there, they played, you know. That was the good old days, sports in the 90s, man. That was real raw, you know. But that was the time when, like, shoot, probably 20 dudes shared one basketball. You know, like, for real, probably 20 dudes would share one football too, you know. Yeah, average logic thinker, big up, man. I'm just here, like, you know, sports chatting. It's nothing much. How are you doing today, man? Hope everything is well with you. Yeah, you know, like, if, shoot, that was times when if you was playing baseball, you ain't even had a baseball glove, but you know what? You go knock on your friend door and ask him for his baseball glove. I'm great, and you as well. Man, bless up to you. Much love and respect, man. Peace. Yeah, you know, like, remember back in the days when we was kids, you know, like you borrowed your friend basketball, you know, like you borrowed your friend baseball glove, you know, like, And it wasn't nothing like how people be talking about people nowadays or calling people bums and stuff. Like, nah, we wasn't talking about each other like that, because you know what? Like, we all, I wouldn't say we suffered the same, but everybody knew what everybody was going through, but we made it better sharing with each other and having love for each other. You know, because if you knew that your friend ain't had no lunch, you gave him half of your sandwich, or you gave her half of your sandwich. You know? Like, some people ain't eat the school food, so taking half of a friend's sandwich, that was something they could eat. You know, you had a piece of candy, they'd take it. You know, like, for real. And it's really sad that we do gotta say the good old days, because those was days where people had respect, people had love, you know, people really cherished friendship, people cherished family, people actually like enjoyed stuff. Like, and sports was much more like, it was, you loved it more. You know, like, you, like, nowadays, as I say, a lot of people is in sports, and a lot of you know, the music thing for the money, you know. But back then, you actually know some of the athletes, they cared for the people. You know, nowadays, I would probably say some of them cared for the people, but back then you felt it. You know, like, you knew certain people was real. You know, nowadays, you gotta guess on everybody. You know, and it shouldn't be like that. You know, it shouldn't be like that. You know, where you got some of these athletes, you know, they thinking that they're high and mighty. I don't know. You better sit back down. You better sit down and chill out. You know, for have respect, because you was once just like the people. You know, and that's one thing the people got to keep on reminding a lot of these athletes and these so-called stars. The only thing separates you is your bank account, and more people see you than me. That's it. You know, like, the house and the shelter you got, we got house and shelter too. We got food too. You know, the food goes down the same pipe. You know, and that's why I always say that the word needs to be taught over, because we have to really stop letting these people that's growing up into the same community as us and doing the same things that we once did. But then after that, you get money, or you get a little money, or you get a lot of money, and you get a lot of TV time and a lot of airtime on the radio in different places. But then you think you're better than the people that you came from? No, no. And for the people that be wanting to put them on a pedestal, you better stop it as well. Okay? Stop it as well. Be humble, man. Be humble. And a lot of people ain't humble until life humbles them. A lot of people be taking things for granted and take people for granted. But when they by themselves, that's when they really think about it, because that's when it really hits you, when you by yourself, not when everybody is in front of you and you have to play the big macho man or the big macho woman. You know, like, that's why I always said, like, you know, I grew up, even though it was rough in Brooklyn and the Bronx growing up, I still seen people have respect. I don't like when I'm seeing a world nowadays of some people just using disrespect for the fun of it and just lashing out on the people, or just thinking that they could be negative or use ill intent against people just for the fun of it. No. No. You must not live so. You must not act so. And that's what some celebrities do, and that's what some people do to each other. We act like we're better than each other, and we use things to act like we're better than each other. No. You know, like, stop it. Stop. You know, like, chill out, relax. You know, because when it comes to time for you to really see that the millionaire or billionaire need that person that's not even a millionaire or billionaire, somebody that they'll call homeless or beneath them. When those times come in life, that's when a lot of people wake up. And that's when you'll have to really understand and understand that this life that we all living in, even though they made it a materialistic ladder for many people to climb, you gotta understand more is more than silver and gold. Life is more than silver and gold, excuse me. So if you thinking the money and the materialistic things is like final destination, mm-mm. You got people ain't got nothing, but they still got a lot. I'ma say it again. It got people that don't have nothing, but they still got a lot. Excuse me, dear. And it's the same way around with all the materialistic things that a lot of people have, and they see that it doesn't fill them up. They see how empty they are. None of the things they could have, or the things they have, it can make them feel good or make them whole. Find yourself, my people, even with me, as we keep on searching in this life. You know, it's a journey. But in the journey, show respect in your journey. You don't gotta disrespect people while you're living in this journey. You don't have to act like you're bigger than anybody or better than anybody living in this journey. Much love to everybody that came out to this live. Thank you very much. Peace and love.